Why'd you show up like this?
Flashbang. GOG says Capcom didn't see any value on the classic original Resident Evil games because remakes are superior. As we all know, this bit of the Undead trivia was revealed by GOG's Senior Business Development Manager, Marcin P. I can't even say the word because I gonna have to guess this person is Polish. During a recent interview with a veteran industry analyst and game business proprietor, Christopher Dring, I butchered that name, met with surprise from Dring regarding their decision to preserve the OG version of RE1, RE2, RE3 Nemesis rather than any remasters or remake. You know what, I think I'll call him by a first name. Now Marcin quickly only recalled how Capcom had the same reaction to the idea, but also that the developers' own confusion proved a significant roadblock to the entire endeavor. I was one of the people that spearhead this project within GOG, like convincing Capcom, because that was actually their main counter-argument when we are trying to bring back classic games. They were like, okay, we have all those remakes, it's already superior than those games. They didn't really see the value on bringing back the vanilla version. It took a lot of convincing that, hey guys, there's an audience that has a lot of memories to those games and they would love to be able to experience exactly the same again. Thankfully, we are able to convince them to trust us with working on one of their biggest IPs, if not the biggest. When we launched it on GOG, the reception was absolutely phenomenal. We have 94% positive reviews on GOG for all of them. That was reflected in the sales. It proved that there's still an audience for this. So it doesn't matter if the game was remade or not, the classic version, the version we all remember from our childhood, they still hold values. Look, for example, at the extreme success of old school RuneScape. Now it's an online game. If you look at these games right now, it looks absolutely terrible if you don't know the context, how the controls work, why the graphics looks like this, but the game is immensely popular. It's the equal to the mainstream RuneScape, so there is an audience for games like that, for experience like those old school ones, and this audience is, I think, only growing. Sorry if I had to mumble the word. Marcin acknowledged that it is natural for game developers that want to protect their IP and they are really trying to protect their launch window because that is really important. They've invested very meaningful resources into realizing their creative vision. But at the same time, after this initial hypersensitive period ends, does it really warrant having all those obstacles and DRM in those builds? One of the biggest obstacles that we run into is bringing back games are all the DRM system that were implemented and the creators of that software being no more. Well, that sucks. It is very hard to get rid of that and make the game playable again. I wonder what happened to those creators, which first off the DRM, because I don't know about the DRM back in the old days. Before Capcom went into PC market, they went into console market, okay? That's the reason why there's DRM everywhere. Which I hope for Resident Evil 9, there will be no DRM. Knowing Capcom, they won't do it. Capcom, what are you doing? What about Resident Evil 4? That game is gonna be like what? By this Sunday, by this Sunday it should be, no, not this Sunday, this Saturday, it is already 20 years old and it's still working. Yeah, well, even though I don't have the original PS2, I have the PS2 emulator. Hey, it's still working. I haven't exactly tried the remakes, and to be honest, I never exactly started playing Resident Evil, you know, the first, second, and third. I started with Resident Evil 4. Back then I was like, what, 12 to 13 years old? Because the game that really introduced me to games such as Resident Evil is House of the Dead. If Capcom doesn't want to preserve this, I mean, I hate to say this, but this is the reason piracy exists. Why do you think there's emulation? There's what? Pirated games. I mean, yes, for Hollow Knight Silksong, the pirates encourage people to buy it, which is okay because the game was successful. It was cheap. And also, but when it comes to games such as what? Capcom or GTA 6, which I overheard they say it's gonna cost $100, which let's hope it doesn't. I mean, if you price that game so expensive, I don't think piracy is a problem or is a bad thing, because remember what Gabe Newell said. Piracy is a service problem, not a price problem. So give them a good service. I'm gonna say it like this: if you continue the path of Nintendo, $80 to $100, and if that product launches broken or unfinished, why are you justifying $80 or even $100? Okay, for Capcom, despite they have their RE engine, but the only way the RE engine will work in terms of open world is the nouveau must be removed. No question. I mean, the Nouveau is not going to help them anymore. It affects performance in the PC. Remember, Capcom, your market, most of your revenue comes from the PC. And if you want that revenue, remove the Nouveau.
Leon. Long time no see.
Ada. So it is true.
True? About what?
You, working with Wesker.
I see you've been doing your homework.
Why, Ada?
What's it to you?
Why are you here? Why'd you show up like this?
Flashbang.
See you around.
Ada!